very good language. But you know what? No, I have the solution, and the only way they can get to you is by after I stop Biafra will know the importance of freedom. If I please, thank you. The more you keep on supporting evil, the more your land, the more your daughters will bring adopted, the more your sons will suffer the problem. And under one Nigeria, there is nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Because one idiot that the group rise up and say, oh no, it is one Nigeria, there is crime everywhere. Haven't you heard about Zamfara? Haven't you heard about Katsina? There is crime everywhere. That is the crime you have enough, the insecurity you have enough is as a direct consequence of their own action. They look at either in the Nigeria and ISIS was happening. Boko Haram, for the next time, bandits, who brought them to Nigeria? It's funny. Only brought them to Nigeria. Everybody brought them in. All the people who brought them in are them and dumb and stupid. When you come out and you pretend to go, they are one Nigeria. Go and go. Where would the boundary of Biafra be? And I asked him, where is the people from Nigeria coming and go and the land? Most of these people from Nigeria, they are building a pipeline to the share. They are building a well line to the share. They are building those to the share. We are not, we are the money comes from, which is Biafra land. We don't have those infrastructure. No, we don't. But you're taking our money to come to our hand. Come to the come to our So that the wages of these people lift the wall, bring the pressure that happens when they go. Nigeria is not one. We are marginalized. And then come back to say that these are useless elections. On one hand, you're marginalized. You're being discriminated against. You're suffering. They're killing you right from the eye. Come back to the same place and say Nigeria must be one. And Nigerians must be together to say they want to be part of this useless faction. That's entirely their business. I mean, Democrats are so proud. But have you asked yourself this question? Why is that all the past people who live in one Nigeria has something to gain from Nigeria? Or they have benefited in the past? Nothing more. I saw the letter to President Biden. He made that Biafra say, come and help us fight that in order to ensure that there will be regional destabilization. That is the game plan at the U.S. State Department of Security. They keep talking about these lies. Once Nigeria breaks up, there will be destabilization in the entire region. I said, understand African history. Most of these people are not. When I say this, I'm not insulting. Most of them. In Africa, we are tribal people in Africa. In Africa, we are tribal regions in Africa. We always go back to the village where our umbilical cord, our long pregnancy. That's what we come. That is why every Christmas, Easter, New Festival, or August meeting, you see us migrating back to where we come from. And I keep saying these things, Africa does not understand it. They don't understand it. Everywhere in Africa, during Christmas, if you like being in South Africa, if you like let it be in Kenya, let it be in Rwanda, everybody from the capital goes to here. If you go to Accra, it's the capital. This past Christmas, if you like go to Kanu. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. We pray. He said, one thing is obvious that I want to remind you this evening is that we are indestructible. And we are not going to stop until we get what we are looking for. What we're asking for is simply a referendum that will lead us to the democracy, the freedom, the liberation that Biafra portends, not just for the trapped and subdued indigenous populations in the damnable contraption called Nigeria, but the whole of Africa as well. Because right now we are in a state of war. We are in a state of war. It is the express wish of the Fulani Caliphate to kill our people. Their plan during the war was to kill every male, every adult, male and female, up to the age of 10, and then groom them to become Janjaweed slaves. That was they tried an experiment with a few people. And Emeka was one of them. Go and ask them. Some of you do not understand your history. You have no idea where you're coming from. That is why some of you do not know where you're coming to. That is why fools like Nnamdi are confused. That is why they do not understand what we are confronting, what we are facing. I want everyone to understand something very, 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 very careful. to pay attention to what I have to say. You were against IPOB, your army, your police. You people are the ones inviting the army to come and kill your own people. Our land is the way it is today because of Hope Uzodinma. Hope Uzodinma thought that we are in the era of 2017, 2018, 2019. Bring the Fulani army to come, kill one or two people, and everything will be quiet. No, not anymore. They are going to die in our land. Some of you idiots, some of the people, some of you natural born saboteurs and traitors. Some of you fools that can never see what the enemy is doing to you. It's only when there is a retaliation that you start to react and to complain. I want to remind each and every one of you that Nigeria has been killing us since 1945. Since 1945. And your peaceful agitation never got you anywhere. Begging and pleading never got you anywhere. They kill in 1945, kill in 1953, kill in 1950. In fact, every year since 1945, they've been killing you. They slap you on one side, you turn the other one. That was the top of the head of a camel. Nobody said anything about it. That is why none of you is among the security council in this room. You don't even understand. You don't even reason very well. You think that by saying yes and yes and yes and everything that Fulani says that they will love you, you are a fool. Therefore, you are an idiot. You are a fool. You are a complete idiot. You should have focused on your 419. You should have used your computer to be scamming white people. That is your job. Or that was your job, and maybe it still is. Before you became the Fulani patriot. Because what the Fulani did was to go and pick up vagabonds in our land to make them governors. Not just in church, or Kanu, who, and yourself. When you people come out in public to speak, when our land was our land, can you people come outside to speak? Because in our land, once you are a criminal, you will not be allowed to speak in public. Once you are a thief, you can never be allowed to speak in the gathering of the elders. It's impossible. You cannot do it. But of course, we are living in strange times. We are living in the time of the Fulani territory. That was, if not that people rose up and said, no, I don't remember would have been the governor of Imo State today. Another criminal, another country, another killer. These are the type of vengeance that the Fulanis are bringing to come and lead us. Dave Woman, you are telling me you don't understand what happened to your people. You don't understand that we lost 5 million people. Look at all the commissioners of police saying, oh, don't come outside. No, you can go. Dishonor the dead. Don't remember your heroes. Let me remind you what they did to you, because some of you do not know. As they were running from the aircraft, as the massacre was going on, there were Igbo people among the custom officers, and they dropped their chalk and they fled, only to be shot in the main terminal by other soldiers. I hope Dave want to listen to me very carefully. I am not the person to remind you to honor the dead. Because with great position comes great responsibility. I don't want to regret the death of Abiola because he did very well for his people. The Yoruba political leaders, they fought and agitated until June 12 became Orukan. Is that not true? One man, one Yoruba man. And we lost over 5 million people. Do you see why you are not leaders? Why you're not cut out to lead? Have you not seen that Nnamdi stand before the whole world during the commemoration of Holocaust? Every blessed year. Have you not seen Her Britannic Majesty, the Queen of England, Elizabeth II, stand at the cenotaph, the 11th of November, every blessed year, to remember those that fought and died for their country? Do you also know, Dave, your stupidity? You don't even begin to acknowledge that had all these men that perished in the 20s, had they not died in the 20s, look at what is happening in Plateau. Look at what is happening in Taraba. Look at what is happening in what's it called? Look at what is happening in happening in Yoruba land, the same thing will be happening to us today. Let me tell you something else. Because these men fought and died for us. They gave us hope. That was the job of Uju. Uju was the Moses of our time, our trailblazer. God used Uju to say to us, there is a promised land somewhere called Biafra. Only when the people are worthy will I lead you to that land. The Israelites were wandering all over the wilderness for 40 years. We have been wandering now for over 50 years. Because of us. Because of our wickedness against our people. This same army that killed our people and slaughtered us is the same army that you criminals are invited into our land to kill some people. That their fathers were killed by the same vagabonds and the people. Do you see why we decide why you people are lower than the family? One, you don't even know your responsibilities. You have no idea what it means to be a leader. You don't have a clue what it means to be a leader of people. You people should have been the ones directing us and saying, these are the things we want. These are the things we're going to do. You don't believe the answer until IPOB came. Or until Igbo Biafrans and Nnamdi should come. Instead of you to say, this is a very laudable initiative. How do we get the government of Nigeria to acknowledge that yet of May as the day that a grave injustice was done to a particular race? You idiots, due to what I would call political expediency, you are more or less interested in safeguarding your own private political position. Shame on all of you. Some of you say, oh, the Yoruba agitators, they don't insult their leaders. But their leaders fought for the death of one man, one single man, to be recognized and watched in the calendar of, should I say, Nigerian politics. You lost over 5 million people out of cowardice and fear. You can't even rise up to defend or argue for the right of these people to be remembered. Do you see why you're not doing this? I can never do it. All of you are right boys. Most people are doing, you are just in office serving for an and you blame your government. No matter if I were to be a governor, or had I been a governor in our land, there is no amount of provocation that would make me to go to Abuja to beg for Fulani soldiers to come into our land to kill our people. I will never do it. Never. Not in a billion years. But it goes to show the level of hatred that these people have for us. It goes to show the extent they are prepared to go in order to subdue the truth. And Dave Umari is the one championing it. Why are you threatening people with economic life? Why? They are means of survival. Why? Because you know you will lose. They expect fight you will lose. And so Kusadema is now losing. People can make all the noise you like. You can come out and talk whatever rubbish. You can falsify the news. You can pay all the journalists in the zoo to write your own narrative that's entirely your business. But the truth will always speak for itself. And the truth of the matter is that you cannot win this very war. You cannot win it. Not in the kingdom, yes, you cannot win it. Nobody in history has ever defeated a volunteer army of the people. Go and read history. Nobody ever. Go and study it. We are in very critical times. If you go to my page, you read it, you need to take a bit of it so that others can see. If you Google the Times magazine on 7th of October 1966, you will see what they did to us in the so-called one Nigeria. If after going through this, if after reading all this, you still believe in one Nigeria, as a Biafran, more or less as a good person, as a very person, as a good person, then believe you me, there is something fundamentally wrong with your brain cells. You are not aware. And these are the people that the likes of August of Carlo, Dave Umahi are forcing us to belong to. These are the people that killed us. Imagine what our soldiers will be thinking in their graves, whatever they're lying today, that the same people that came to annihilate our race are being invited into our land to continue the killing by those that claim that it's leaders. And you want me to respect you? How is that possible? How is that possible? I ask you. How? If not for IPOB, would anybody remember that? Of course not. So you are basically leaders. We are the leaders. We want to go. Look at this. So after this very pathetic and hopeless display of cowardice and utility, you think I'm allowing you to go to Abuja to go and negotiate on behalf of IPOB? Is that what you think? One friend will look at you, he will start wetting the pants. Your posture ought to be soaked. A normal man, because you're a coward, you're a wretched coward. The only place you people have strength in this life is to bring army to attack your own people. That is the only time that you want. That is the only time you want to search your house. But when the yet Yala was making and killing our mothers, you wretched, idiotic, coward, painful man, came on television and was crying like a little baby. Did you ask the army to come to kill Yetiala or to flush them out of the state? No, you did not. I gave the order to the men on the ground. And today, we have rid the state of Yetiala terrorist group. You did not do it. We did it. Not you. The only time it matters to you is to bring in army to kill your people. That is the only time you will have courage and strength. That is why you people don't deserve to live and live. You people are different. You don't live. Look at Daniel Adams. Daniel Adams. Look at Akintoye. Professor Akintoye, look at Sunday. Let me ask all you idiots from the East, fools. How many times have you heard any so-called Yoruba intelligentsia or politician rise up and say, arrest them all, kill them all, do this like this? How many times have I asked you? How many times? Yet you don't believe it. That is why people are different. Give you this, don't take it away. But look at you, idiots, begging every day. Oh, yes, sir, yes, yes, and I had you, yes, and I had you. You have nothing. You don't need to take it, all of you. So-called governors, you don't know nothing. They come, they promise you, president. The only people that have 6 or 7 Senate presidents, the only one, look at the idiocy. When the Fulani now saw all this nonsense, with the help and support of the British, their white masters, ordinary Senate presidents can no longer or never again. The time they gave it to you was like big bomb. After this person, what's that man's name again? I've forgotten his name. After that, he was Chubakari. After Chubakari, was Parasite. After Parasite, oh my God, only one thing. It's something that we did for all of you idiotic governments. That's what we're doing. And when you are doing it, you thought you were doing your people a great service. Then you are doing them a greater disservice. Do you know why? After all that nonsense you've been thinking you're serving members and all of you are going, you go behind the back. I ever said, undermined Chubakari. They came out and undermined God knows whoever. The other person tells us and came. One by came, only one thing. And when you were doing it, you thought you were advancing your political careers. But today, look at the consequences. No Igbo man he holds any military position. Not even do it. None. That tells you that the path you people are traveling is disastrous. Disastrous. What stops you from something called magnanimity? What stops all these governors from being magnanimous? To say, okay, you've done very well so far. Let us everybody if you try to do once, believe you will make them fool you. and that your boyfriend, that your lover, that alhaji that is loving you, they will upgrade you maybe from 1 week to the third house of the hotel, maybe a transport where they're using you because you're all rent boys. We know that for sure. We know that before they give you any decision, like a gas packet, they will sleep with you. Isn't that what the people of? All the people you call the governors, ask them who doesn't have a boyfriend at the time. But they are married. That is why they have also the family will need to do that to them. It's called Dandawood in order to remove humanity from them. If you don't know, let me tell you. These are idiots. Some of you, wretched. I don't know how to describe you. These are idiots for your leaders. Do you know the meaning of leadership? Do you know the meaning of leadership? Look at Yoruba. They are singing Yoruba national anthem in their schools. Compare that to the idiots that you have from Biafra. Therefore, man, I we'll see. I am warning everybody tonight, if you come out on the 31st on Monday, you are going to die. I don't want Nigerian army to kill you and then you start blaming people that are innocent. Because some of you hate yourself. Self-hatred is the killer of the destiny of this. Self-hatred. When you hate yourself, other people will hate you 4 times over. If you come out on the 31st and warning everybody you're going to die, that's very bad. And should the Zoo army attempt any stability, they will be confronted on that very day too. I want people to leave the roads open. Can you hear this? On the 31st. Leave the road so that straight will come to you. Don't come outside. Let us settle this nonsense once and for all. Because the Nigerian army, they are made up of cowards. They always attack civilians. That's what they do. You defeat them, they start attacking civilians. Today, they block the Abuja. Can you imagine such things? They block the Abuja, shouting like mad. What they are trying to do is to see if by inflicting collective punishment on the populace, somehow you will turn against people who are fighting for liberation. I want to remind them that the Cameroonian army tried it in Amazonia and failed after 8 months. Now every Amazonian is a freedom fighter. You know, sometimes they think that by oppressing people, by killing people, somehow they will slay you into submission. Not knowing that they are grooming and breeding hardened freedom fighters that despise the zoo with every sin of their body. That's what they don't understand it. Look at Imo State. Only because you killed the council. Only because some of people. Look at Imo State. Imagine when you kill the top leadership of IPOB and then you get to us. Imagine what will happen. Even every living organism, including Amoeba and Euglena varieties, single cell animals will perish. We are getting there very closely. And you are going to suffer. The soul will suffer. And none of you informants, let me warn you, if you know your brother, your uncle, your sister is an informant, please prepare for the burial because they're going to die. If you are Igbo, PG, all these people, and you are pointing at saying IPOB lives here, they live here, it's only a matter of time you're going to die. You will die. Because you are part and parcel of those pointing out freedom fighters to be killed by the enemy. Are you telling me that the people fought for nothing? That all our soldiers that perished between 67 and 70, they all died for nothing? Is that what you're telling me? That today you're proudly working for the family today, the border has been opened in the West. The Biafra fighters have confronted the issue, they have opened their border in the West. Are you aware of that? Now, are you aware that gallant Igbo fighters have opened the front in the West? All you need to just come to Facebook, come to me, write in junk, rubbish everything. When they came to my house to kill me on the 14th of September 2017, that minute I was fighting for my people. That's all. When they killed us at National High School, and what did we do? That's a bomb. How did we offend anyone? Nothing. They were killing us. Now that God has sent his angels to come and protect the weak, now we have discovered where your pen is. You think you're hiding and writing rubbish, as if it has an effect, or it will have any effect on us. Of course, it will never have any effect on us. Look at the people telling you, do not come make sure you disobey this at home order by the camera. Don't obey it. The same people, but in their own land, they have Sharia. When all these police commissioners in River State, in Imo State, in Abuja, in Enugu, when you people, you Muslims for Sharia in the north, they need to stop you. But you're in our land. You're in our land. Telling us what to do. I said it before, I'm allowing to do it. As soon as Biafra comes, at every entry point into Biafra, every seaport, every airport, every land crossing, there will be a DNA kit. We'll have a sample of Fulani Janjaweed DNA on one side, and we'll have a sample of Biafran DNA on the other side. We'll just everybody come in. If you have Fulani Janjaweed DNA inside you, you send it back. It's an error. You go there. They don't understand that they are making us stronger. Don't look at the history of freedom fighting and making us stronger. Hitler killed 6 million Jews, thinking after killing them, somehow Jews will bow and something. Today, Israel has the best army in the whole world. That's how human life is. I want to let you information understand something. Take your phone. Some of you have 3 or 4 phones. Take one of your phones. Tell that your phone, the mobile phone, you're holding in your right and left hand. I'm going to use you to injure my body. You see, this body you're going to something. Start to rub your phone on a particular spot at the back of your arm. Or anywhere, but keep rubbing it. Every day, keep rubbing it. Previously your skin used to be very soft. But as time goes on, you will find that that place you've been rubbing all the time, putting pressure all the time, has acquired some measure of hardness. As human nature. And I want every Fulani Janjaweed to do this very, very simple. Take any object, be rubbing it against your skin slowly. That's your skin that is very soft. After 3 or 4 days, you will notice that that part you've been rubbing all the time has developed a semblance of toughness. Even in nature do not commit to it. What makes you think that we are not committed? Impossible. Maybe your father is a permanent secretary, or maybe minister, or maybe commissioner, or maybe eating for purpose of the man or day for money. Maybe they get you a contract. All of you. So you are good work. Nobody is stopping you from enjoying whatever you enjoy with God. But allow those fighting for their freedom to fight for their freedom. You have no right to do it. Allow me to on the 31st. If you come outside, you will die. If you're a road transporter, if you're a transport worker or whatever, you know how good here. They want to die. Who can tell you what to do? I'm going to die. That day you will perish. On the 31st day, you will perish. So that when when you die and go to the world beyond, you will meet the likes of the gods and the living thing with each other, living with that idiot and right now. Do you understand? The era of our idiocy has come and gone. All that, the era of the slave has finished. 2021. If you return on day, if you finish writing all your rubbish, on Monday you sit at home. On Monday you inside your house. Because there are places in our land where foolishness is in very high supply. Omaha is one of them. One of the most foolish places we have on this earth is Omaha. My so-called hometown. Very foolish. That was the last headquarters of Biafra before Biafra fell. But they are very, very foolish. But on Monday, we're going to give them a lesson on Monday. Let them come out and go to bank market to go and open shop. I want anybody, any chairman of any market that is open, any market you open, the chairman will hear from us. In Biafra, any market you open, will hear from us. Another idiotic place is Enugu, our own capital. Look at how foolish all Biafran capitals are. Enugu is another place. I don't know if half of them is born by Fulani, half of them. I'm warning all of you in Enugu. On the 31st, you sit at home. If you come outside, you will experience miracle. Like you waiting for all your life, you will see it. You brought the light. Enugu is known for their stupidity and non-compliance. Omaha is known for their stupidity and non-compliance, and also Abakaliki. If you are going to come out in any of these places, anything that befalls you, you carry it on your own head. Because people are foolish. On the 12th of June, all of you will sit at home. It will be a holiday. You will remember a Yoruba. You idiots, you will remember a Yoruba person at home. One man, in our own case, we lost 5 million people. And if you don't sit at home, we'll make you sit at home by force. People, no wonder they're suffering. You have no appreciation of the sacrifice of the dead. You take everything is mercantilism, it is buying and selling. You convert every situation into a currency. You always look at the monetary value of every circumstance you find yourself in. That is why we have spirituals and traders with it. They want to convert their position into money. So that Abuja can recognize them. I can't give them money. They will get all of you one after them. You will see what will happen to you. Warri is Biafra land, they must join the lockdown. Asaba always complies. Asaba will comply. I want Calabar to be locked down as well. Everywhere, because we all died together. To all love, to change the people all together. That's how we see us. Ken's Rowe has been forgotten, hasn't it? Nobody remembers Ken's Rowe anymore. Because we cannot come together to fight. But the time has come. We must come together to fight everywhere. Can you imagine it? Do you think that a Southern Commissioner of Police in Kanu will tell them what to do? They'll come up with that. But I need to come to Malan and tell us what to do. He will give money to punches, but give money to all these corrupt journalists. They will write whatever rubbish. And you're claiming you're serving the people when you're serving the enemy. The Nigerian army cannot fight any war or battle their cowards. Anytime they are defeated, they will go to the nearest village to look for them to kill. I was told that they plan to go to India and find their cowards. Go to the bush and look for people who are looking for you. You are going from house to house, doing showman, character, as if what you're doing on the road affects people in the bush. You think they give a damn about what you're doing on the road? If you like, go to the village and bomb it for the kingdom come. It cannot stop men from the bush from coming out to do their work. And for the very first time on the 31st, in the next 2 days, I will give the order. If there is any stupidity anywhere, I will give the order for ESN to leave the bushes and come out of the states. From the 31st of one age, day after tomorrow. Allow me to warn all your governors now. 8 governors starting from day from now, I swear to God Almighty in heaven, if you try any rubbish on the 31st, by trying to penalize anybody opening their shop on the 31st, I will ask just about me. Actual also, because of the food, you complete idiot. You are. Go back to your first time. You have lived all your life deceiving people and calling them to make money. Before they fully recognized you and appointed you, same thing with Kopo Sataman. He was secretary of 419 in Lagos. Could also know that. Look at that. All criminals and vagabonds are idiots that you call political leaders. And you want to go drink whatever you like. Let me go to Abuja. You that you go there and later will raise your abana and lower your trousers and beat you. They will take away your boxer from you. You are the one who they will cower like did you defend the police state? You reject it to defend the police state. I'm asking you. To that give me that not when you defeat the Nigerian army, you after civilians. That is why I am warning tonight. Nobody should go around this. After 6 p.m. every blessed day. You know, our people are very strong. If you're a young man or woman, you got to the night to kill. If you don't stay, if you leave the roads open so that men can meet, we know that we don't casualties. Leave the road every 6 p.m. across Biafra land. People should be in their houses. Leave the roads open. Stop interfering. Because when they say they will arrest you, anybody they see arrest, we have arrested the sponsors of African fools. We hired big consultants in the USA. You arrest somebody who is selling watermelon as a sponsor, who is sponsoring IPOB. Are you not an idiot? And they will ask their sue journalists to write, and they start writing nonsense. They hate you. Nigeria, or should I say Nigerians, hate you as a Biafran with passion. That is something that the man doesn't know. That is something that the other idiotic governors do not know. On the 31st, we shall tell the whole world that we do business. Complete and utter lockdown. Shut down everywhere. I know 1 or 2 idiots carry their baskets. We are going to market. Can I change what again? I'll get you that the land will eat you. As you're going out to do for which the land will eat you. Instead. Complete lockdown. I have given the orders this evening to make sure that someone Enugu and Abakiliki is part of what we're doing. Any chairman of any market, be it Opan market, be it any market that opens on that very the land will. Highest thing they will write about it for 2 or 3 days and will be forgotten. Complete lockdown. We must remember those that made it possible for us to be alive today. We know that in Aba, they are there. The soldiers full of terrorists in uniform. They are camped. These are Boko Haram. People that did not Boko Haram. In fact, this is what they call it again? Al Shabaab. They are camped in Aba now. In a hotel at Uba Road. By a place they call Amanketa. There's a hotel there, and they're there. And the person who is directing them is a Fulani boy that grew up in the area. Their operation will start tonight. That is the reason why I'm doing this broadcast. In Aba, everybody must go inside tonight. So that anything we see outside of the road is bullshit. Or should I say road meat this time around? Or township meat. Clear from the roads from tonight. Clear from the roads tonight. So that when they approach you, we can see them. I am warning my brothers and people, you know how people don't listen. And every informant will be identified. Can you believe that Igbo was talking rubbish and I just stated whatever, 17 summit? You know what he was saying? That the government should do whatever they can to protect informants. I don't know. there is something they drink. I think once they go to Abuja or Lagos, there's something they drink. A previously sensible person will start to talk like an idiot. Yet they come without shame, sacked by Jonathan. Although he was doing well relatively against Boko Haram. You want to come down to your land to recruit informants to be pointing at him. And anywhere you see an informant, please, you know that and that is, don't kill them. Just part of the film. So that they will go back and tell their children how they lost one of their families. They're in Aba tonight and they are everywhere, in and around the world. Do not go out at night, leave the road open for men to engage them because they are cowards. They always take out their frustrations and civilians. If one idiot has tried to I don't like to be killed. Remember such idiots, they have been chased away from every Shia people. Attack and chased away. Once in a while you see channels TV, they will write, we killed 10 Boko Haram today. Have you ever seen them before write and say we've killed ISIS before? You people that cannot listen very well. What does that tell you about the relationship between these terrorist governments and ISIS West Africa? But your brain will not go there with it. After all, you're in the street, you black people. Or what do you know? You're very clever. I'm asking you, have you ever seen them write on the pages of newspapers that they successfully engaged ISIS in West African provinces? No, never. The rest is Boko Haram, Boko Haram, Boko Haram, because them and ISIS are working in tandem. A terrorist government. A terrorist as a police commissioner is telling us what to do after killing us. Should I say 5 million of us many years ago? Every informant in Biafra land will identify and arrested and dealt with. I can show you that. I know that they will not be self-inflicted and interested in our ever since we drove away his 80 other friends, he has been at the forefront of the arrest and execution of many young people in the state. This young man are we just remembering them for nothing? They fought and died for us. Even on every January the 15th, the zoo, God and you remember their soldiers. And you're asking us not to remember those that saved our lives. Without them today, who knows? Maybe I will be asking Amen. Who knows? We must honor them. As somebody wrote in our Instagram, the word is enough for the one. He said, I am not coming to the first. You know the way we love anybody. Your obituary will happen. At least we got that advice. Monday is a lockdown, 31st of May. Complete another shutdown of the entire Biafra. Even people like Dave Mind are not allowed to prevail over what is good. We often lament about marginalization of our people, but we are the ones making it possible for foreign to marginalize us. Because if we rise up and say enough is enough, we cannot abolish. You think that by telling they will love you, they will love you, of course. Every cycle will go down. Every supporter of Fulani genocide in our land will go down. This generation is not joking. You can go inside the township and arrest as many people as you like in this business. The real men are dying in the bushes. If you say, have you ever wondered why they cannot go to the bush to come look for men? They're always outside, running around from one checkpoint to the other. Come into the bush. Lara. And to all apologies of Fulani genocide, I want to remind you of one thing. What did we do to you in 2014, when you killed us, 2015, 2016? What did I do to them? Nothing. The more you kill us, the more we protest, the more you kill, the more we protest, the more you kill. Until at the time, God sent his angels to say enough is enough. And that's the period of every man. You think we're going to stop? But of course not. Instead, everything will die. You know, it's implemented gradually. Very soon now, I will introduce what I call the air gun solution. Let me to pray in the language of heaven, the very broadest language on the face of this earth. When my lawyers sent to see me, I had a discussion with them, and now I'm going to tell myself. I told them that
what we can't do is majority. One day more everything you see Oge Chukwu, Kama, Inoko, Amanati, Ashino, Medo, Oku, Amanati, Ashino, if you went out,
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on today's program. I appreciate everyone that has connected wherever you are connecting from. If you are joining us from Biafra land, from Asia, Europe, America, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, wherever you are joining us from, I welcome you to this amazing program and I thank you for being part of the program. As you join us in this platform, kindly like and share the program. Share to family and friends, share to your neighbors, share to our enemies so that they can hear our point of views. Don't keep the message to yourself. Remember, we are still in the time of radical evangelism. You have to be part of it. How can you be part of it? Even if you cannot make your own program, like and share the program. Those who are genuinely seeking for the freedom are doing. That is how to engage. So try and be part of this very movement, no matter how difficult it is. I know it is not easy, but at the same time, no matter the difficulties we face, we must continue to do what we have to do. We cannot win this battle by complaining. We cannot just win this battle by just talking. No, we must have to win it by action. How do we win it by action? By you doing something. Myself, by doing my part. By the time every one of us do our part, I do my program, you like, you share, our voice will be heard. So I welcome every one of you. Remember, in this platform, we don't come here to instigate violence. We do not come here to promote hate. We don't come here to attack people or individuals. All we do in this platform is to propagate the gospel of Biafra, the truth and nothing but the truth. That we have decided to do and we will continue to do, no matter how difficult. Even if it is only one or two people that are here, those one or two people will extend the message to the next people, and the next message, and before you know it, the message will grow wings and it will fly. So, my fellow Biafrans, remain resolute and we must continue. I welcome every one of you that have connected so far. I can see my brother Kochuks have connected. Thank you so much, bro Kochuks. I see Frank Okoye. Thank you so much, Frank Okoye. I appreciate you for your contribution. And I also see my brother Uche Onyenve. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining the program. I appreciate everyone that has connected wherever you're connected from, both those who are commenting and those who are not commenting. Wherever you are and you are part of this program, I appreciate you. I thank you for being resolute. I thank you for being part of the program. I thank you for never giving up. It is not easy. There are so many reasons why people can decide to give up. There are so many reasons, genuine reasons why people can say, oh, I'm not going to do it again. But I bet you, even in the midst of all that, you have decided to remain resolute. I appreciate every single one of you, and I thank you for being part of this program. On the video that I played, that just finished, you can see that was a message that was made by Nnamdi Kanu in preparation for the 30th May celebration. 30th May Remembrance Day. That video that I played, you can go back and watch it again at the end of the message. That very message was a message that Nnamdi delivered in preparation for the 30th of May, our Heroes Day Remembrance. So, you know, we are approaching the 30th of May. The Heroes Day is fast approaching and coming, and you have to prepare yourself. That Heroes Day, the way we celebrate it, the way we remember our heroes, we respect them, we pray for them, and we remember them by sitting in our various homes. That day is a silent, a solemn day, and it is a lockdown. When you listen to the message Nnamdi delivered, it was a total shutdown of the entire Biafra land. That was when Nnamdi instituted this issue of Heroes Day, remembrance of our heroes. It is not a joke. It is not a day to joke. It's not a day to play around. It is a day the Biafran people sit at home to memorize, to meditate on the souls that we have lost in the course of this journey. Millions of Biafrans have lost their life in the cause of freedom. Not because they committed any crime, not because they went for war, not because they were fighting for war, but simply because they are identified as Biafrans. They were marked for death, and millions died. More especially, children. Millions of children and women died during the Civil War. Not in the hand of the bullet, they were starved to death. Do you know how painful it is for someone to starve to death? In a region that have more than enough to feed themselves, a region that have more than enough to take care of themselves, yet they are starved to death. 30th May is not a day of joke. It is not a day of play. Our Supreme Leader Nnamdi made that broadcast that I just played in preparation for the 30th May. And you can see how serious he was in that message. You can see how determined he was in that message. When you listen to that message, you will see the zeal in him. You can see that 30th May, it is not a day of joke or play. And he gave the charge that all France sit home. So wherever you are watching this program from, we are looking towards that 30th of May. It is coming. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Today, our supreme leader, Nnamdi Kanu, is not here. Our prime minister, Samariko, is not here. But on our own, every single one of you must remember this date. 30th May. You must remember it. Nobody's going to force you. Nobody's going to hold you down. But if you are genuinely from the old South Eastern region, there is no family in the old South Eastern region that did not lose a person. There is no family in the old South Eastern region that did not lose a soul because of the Biafran freedom. There is no single family that cannot give account of one person that is lost. Some, their corpse we are not even seeing. Some have an eternal injury that have remained with them forever. In every family in the old South Eastern region, there is a memory of the Civil War. There is a memory of the Civil War in all of us. That is why it is important that 30th May is remembered. It is coming. And from now onwards, I am going to be playing a lot of memorial videos to remind us of where we are coming from, of what we and what we must sit back and fight today. So I'm going to be playing many memorial videos going forward. So wherever you are, you must pay attention, like and share to keep the memory alive. So many of us are very forgetful. But those of us who never forget, we keep reminding those that have short memories so that they can remember. My fellow Biafrans, wherever you're watching this program, I welcome you once again. I appreciate everyone that has connected and those who are going to watch later. I welcome you. Today, we are treating a topic. And this topic that we are treating today has everything to do with everybody, whether you are a Biafran or non-Biafran, including the international communities, those who are still not understanding why we are doing what we are doing, and those of them in the Zoological Republic who pretend they don't know why we are acting the way we are acting. They don't know we are dealing for one another. This message is for every one of them. So it's a very broad message. As I always say, when you are listening to my messages, keep your sentiment aside. You must not like me. You must not like me. I say it, you must not like me. But if you can have the patience to pay attention, you will pick one or two words from what I'm saying. And whatever you do not agree with, you still have the right to disagree. If you want to engage me in a debate, or you want to share your own opinion, you still have right to join me on stage and then share your own opinion. My fellow Biafrans, today, the topic we are handling today says systemic decay, leadership failure, and the exclusion of Biafrans from governance and development in the contraption called Nigeria. Systemic decay, leadership failure, and the exclusion of Biafrans from governance and development. Whoever you are that you are watching us, I want you to pay close attention. Once again, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. All the viewers across the world, Biafrans and non-Biafrans, great people watching from different parts of the world, fellow Africans, fellow the so-called Nigerians, and those who still believe in their one Nigeria, all the lovers of truth, justice, fairness, and accountability. I welcome every one of you. I wouldn't say fellow Nigerian because I am not a Nigerian. I am a Biafran. So I welcome everyone that is watching this program and those who are going to watch later on. Today, we are going to have a serious and important conversation. Conversation about the state of governance in the contraption called Nigeria. the growing concern about systemic decay, leadership failures, political mismanagement, and the feeling of exclusion and marginalization expressed by many people from the southeastern part of Nigeria, especially the Igbo Biafrans. This very leadership failure, decay, exclusion is not only against the Biafrans or the Igbos, but I bet you it is more pronounced with the Igbos and the Biafrans. It is more pronounced. And we are the kind of people that will not be silent in the face of evil and allow it to continue to go on. That is why we are in the front line of championing and exposing the atrocities in the contraction called Nigeria. The systemic decay, the leadership failure, political mismanagement, and the feeling of exclusion and marginalization. Every indigenous person is facing this crisis. But the only people that have the boldness to speak about this and pursue a solution are the Biafrans. That is why they are loud. That is why they are the ones that are seen. It is not that they are the only one. It is something that is holding down every indigenous person in the continental Nigeria. And every other tribe, they are supposed to be thankful for having us, the Igbos, more especially among them, to make their voice heard. It is because of our effort that many of them have the voice to speak today. It is because of our effort and voice. That is why today the world is discussing about the Christian genocide in the contraction called Nigeria. This is not a conversation about hatred. I want you to pay attention. This is not a conversation about hatred. This is not just a conversation about division. This is not a conversation calling for violence. No. This is a conversation about governance. This is a conversation about fairness. This is a conversation about accountability. This is a conversation about inclusion, justice, development, equal treatment under a democratic system. But from every indication, these things I am mentioning are not present in the contraction called Nigeria. And they are the major reason why we allow speaking and saying that we do not want to be part of this madness, this contraction called Nigeria anymore. And we will continue to speak. It doesn't matter how the world feels. It doesn't matter what the people call us. We will continue to air our opinion. Because when citizens begin to feel unheard, neglected, excluded, disconnected from governance, it becomes dangerous for the future stability of any nation. And that is why Nigeria is unstable today. That is why Nigeria has failed and will continue to fail. That is why Nigeria is irredeemable. Because including those who are talking about their one Nigeria, those who claim to be one Nigeria have said it that there is no way out, there is no solution anyway to solve any problem. Including those that are claiming one Nigeria, they are unheard. You see them every time crying online. You see how they cried. Every one of them was crying about the INEC chairman, who is already an APC chairman, who has already started rigging the election, even when the election had conducted. They all came out and they were shouting, remove INEC chairman, remove INEC chairman. They were not heard. Nobody paid attention. The government neglected them. They were excluded from the decision and whatever had to do with that INEC issue. And from every angle, you see that the government is disconnected. People are disconnected from what is happening in Nigeria. I am now talking about the people who claim that they are one Nigeria. completely disconnected. Every day you go online, you see them crying and shouting. You see them complaining and bickering and complaining and reading epistle. Does that change the situation? It doesn't change the situation. It makes it worse. Remember, at a point in time, the late Muhammad Buhari said that they know the system of Nigeria. That the citizens will only complain. After they complain, in 2 or 3 days, they go back to their normal business and they get used to what is happening. And the leaders have come to understand that the way to manage the zoological republic and its failed citizens is to ignore them. You ignore them and do whatever you want to do, and within 2 days or 3 days complain, they go along and continue to accept idiocy. The only people that don't accept that nonsense are the Biafrans. That is why the government is out against us in all angles, in all corners. When citizens begin to feel unheard, neglected, excluded, or disconnected from governance, it becomes dangerous for the future stability of any nation. And that is exactly why this discussion matters. So whenever you are watching from, wherever you are watching this program from, I want you to participate respectfully in the comment section. Share your thoughts, your experiences, your observations. Like the live stream, share it to others. Subscribe if you have not done so. If you believe in conversations that challenge power, if you believe in conversation that encourage critical thinking, if you believe in conversation that promotes accountability, like and share this program to all platforms as we kick off this discussion, because you are going to learn a lot. Don't keep the message to yourself. Bring somebody along to learn with you. We are going to start with the reality many people are talking about today. The reality many people are talking about. Lovers of freedom across the world, men and women who are watching this program, one of the biggest problems facing Nigeria today is not just poverty. One of the biggest problems facing the contraption called Nigeria today is not just poverty. It is not just unemployment. It is not just insecurity. One of the deepest problems facing the contraption called Nigeria today is the crisis of trust between government and many citizens. When we talk about this trust between government and, let me tell you, including these people that come and preach to you about one Nigeria, they don't trust the Nigeria itself. That is why sometimes I tell that there is no single human being that is a Nigerian. There is no person that is a Nigerian, including those who are coming to talk about one Nigeria. When you talk about separation, they will cry and cry and cry their eyes out. They don't identify as Nigerians. They don't defend Nigerians. They are not ready to die for Nigeria. The Fulani themselves have said it that they are just Fulanis. A governor from the north said it on national TV that Fulanis are just Fulanis. That any place they are in West Africa, they identify themselves as Fulanis, not as Nigerians. That is why when you see the takeover of Nigeria that they are working, when you see the criminal Islamization of Nigeria that are trying to take over Nigeria, the way they are going about it, they don't have pity on any individual that is indigenous. It is not about Nigeria. It is about their own agenda that was put in place by Ottoman Danfodio. And until you understand that, until you put your head down and understand, you will continue to wallow in confusion. The deepest problem facing Nigeria today is the crisis of trust between government and many citizens across different regions of the country. Many people increasingly feel disconnected. It is not just the Biafran people, oh. It is not just the Igbos. Many people feel disconnected. The difference is that most of them do not have the balls to do what we are doing. That is the difference. The difference is that some of them, they don't have the balls to face the government the way we are doing. And so they manage what they have and pretend all is well. Across different regions of the country, many people increasingly feel disconnected from the political system. But in the Southeast especially, many citizens openly express feelings of political exclusion, economic neglect, and underrepresentation. Only in the Southeast region, that is the only place that people have that boldness to express their feelings of political expression, to express their feelings of economic neglect, to express their feelings of underrepresentation. Only in the Southeast, you have people that have that boldness to make that expression. It's not as if it is well with other regions. It's not as if other regions are having it well for themselves. But the difference is that they don't have the balls to do what we are doing. And some of them allow their envy and jealousy to cover their face. They allow their envy and jealousy to becloud their reasons. And they begin to do things that they are not supposed to do. They begin to think in the way they are not supposed to think. But we, the Biafrans, we know what we are facing, and we are not stopping. And whether some people agree with this concern or not, the reality is that millions of Nigerians genuinely feel frustrated from the direction of governance in the contraption called Nigeria. Millions of people are frustrated. Go to their platform, go to their conventional media today. You see how they are complaining and crying, including those that claim to be activists. It is from one complaint to the other without a solution. Police brutality has increased. Instead of you were here when people were talking about a man that was shot, an innocent guy who was shot without allowing him to express himself. They just killed another person again. Few days ago, another person was shot. So this is to tell you that there is no amount of complaint, no amount of cry that will change the status quo. Police force was given to the zoo to manipulate the citizens, to control. Nigeria was created to control. It was not to build security. It was not to secure you. It was not to make you to strive. It was to control you and take away your power, then extort your resources. And that is the role Nigeria will continue to play. Sadly enough, they are using the same people in that very location to carry out those missions. Many people are frustrated with the direction of governance in the contraption called Nigeria. We cannot solve problems by pretending they do not exist. That is one thing everybody should understand. You cannot solve any problem by pretending they don't exist. Like you see in many people, many idiots in that contraption, including those that claim to be activists, after complaining and crying, they continue to pretend they can work something out. You see the one that call himself Peter Obi, going from pillar to pole, pretending that only him is the giant to redeem Nigeria. Oh, Messiah, Jesus. You want to redeem Nigeria? Even when he knows that it is absolutely impossible. Impossible. They continue to pretend. But we cannot solve a problem by pretending they do not exist. We cannot build nation. We cannot build national unity through silence. They will tell you preach unity, including the drug baron will tell you to be preaching unity. When you are silencing people who are demanding for self-determination, when you are charging people for terrorism, for asking for their freedom, when you are taking the life of innocent, and you think that is where you can be able to build unity. You can't build unity by silencing people. And we cannot strengthen democracy if citizens believe their voice do not matter. But sadly, you still see the Western country describe Nigeria as the biggest democracy in Africa. Madness, idiocy, stupidity, lie from the pit of hell. How can anybody perceive Nigeria as a democracy? A place where the innocent is sentenced to life imprisonment simply because he aired his opinion, demanded for referendum for his people. As for self-determination, which is a right under international law, a right under African Peoples and Human Rights law, a right under Nigerian law itself, and you sentence him to life. How can you describe such a country as democracy? A country that involves in kidnapping. You went to a country, kidnapped somebody, extraordinary rendition him into your own country. Went ahead to prosecute him and convict him under a non-existent law. How does that make you a democracy? How? How? You pass wrong information and false information, falsified information to a foreign country, to Finland, to detain a man who is fighting for self-determination, who is defending his people, who is asking his people to wake up and apply the self-defense to save their life. We know that self-defense is accepted by international law. African Peoples and Human Rights law support self-defense. The Zoological Republic called Nigeria supports self-defense. But you brought false information, false testimonies against a man who was encouraging their people to defend themselves against terrorism. Where they are. Regardless the propaganda and blackmail that is coming, we must speak the truth and nothing but the truth. And we cannot strengthen democracy if citizens believe their voices do not matter. That is why today we must honestly examine the issue of systemic decay and leadership failure in the contraption called Nigeria. What is systemic decay? When we talk about the systemic decay in the contraption called Nigeria, what does it mean? When we talk about systemic decay, we are talking about the gradual breakdown of institutions, accountability, trust, infrastructure, and governance structures. That is what we mean by systemic decay. When we are talking about systemic decay, we are talking about the global breakdown, the gradual breakdown of institution, accountability, trust, infrastructure, and governance structures. And I go further to explain. Systemic decay happens When corruption becomes normalized, as you have in Nigeria today, corruption has been normalized in Nigeria. Corruption has been officially normalized in Nigeria. You ask me why? Why wouldn't it be normalized when you have a drug baron as your president? Why wouldn't you even normalize when you have a president that you don't know his age, neither do you know the school where he attended? Why wouldn't it be normalized? Corruption has become normalized in Nigeria. Systemic decay happens when merit is replaced with favoritism. Merit doesn't work in Nigeria anymore. There is nothing called merit in Nigeria. That is why Nigeria will select their officials, appointments, and you will not see anybody from the Southeast. That is why people will be appointed in a position. There will not be anybody from the Southeast included. The reason is because merits have replaced favoritism. And that is called systemic decay. Systemic decay happens when public institutions stop serving the peoples effectively. This is what is happening in Nigeria as we speak. Public institutions don't serve the people. Are you talking about the hospital? Are you talking about the infrastructures? Are you talking about their police, or you are talking about the army or whatever? The evidence are everywhere. You can check for yourself. Every public institution, they have stopped serving the people effectively. Citizens lose confidence in leadership. This one is that even if you are not from the contraption called Nigeria, when you go online and you see the way Nigerians report their government and their actions, I'm not talking about those who are Biafrans, so you wouldn't say that because it is Biafra. That's why. Go and listen to those, even those that call themselves one Nigeria. Go and listen to what they say about their so-called one Nigeria. Our own case is different because we have made up our choice. We made up our mind. We have taken our part, and that we are moving, and there is no going back. We are out already from the zoo. Spiritually, mentally, and physically, we are out from the zoo. I'm talking about the people who are still attaching themselves to that contraption. They have lost confidence in it, but they don't have the boldness to do what we are doing. That is the difference. So that loss of confidence is called systemic decay. It confirms the systemic decay. Infrastructure collapse. Every single infrastructure in Nigeria has collapsed. They have all collapsed. In a country in 21st century, a rich country like Nigeria, people are still campaigning with light, campaigning with road. People are still building boreholes. Is it not a shame? Is it not a big shame? Security deteriorates. This one is not, doesn't need explanation. Insecurity is the order of the day in Nigeria. Nobody is secure. Not even those idiots that claim to be politicians. Nobody is secure. Nobody is secure. From local government to state government to the federal capital. Nowhere is safe. Kidnapping is happening even in Abuja. Remember, even during the time of Buhari, there was a report that something criminal entered into Asarok. During the time of Buhari, there was a report that the criminal went into Asarok and stole something. That is how bad it is. Security today, there are Boko Harams in the House of Assembly. There are Boko Haram in the Senate. There is Boko Haram in Asarok. There are Boko Haram everywhere. In fact, they are the one making the laws and directing how things to go. Systemic decay. Unemployment rising. Are you talking about unemployment? The only thing that is saving the citizens today is that many people from that contraption are very industrious. On their own, individually, people that are trapped in that Nigeria, the indigenous people trapped, they are very industrious. That's the only way they're surviving. Many of them are self-employed. Many of them are self-employed, and they're doing better for themselves. Those who are being employed by the government are not being paid. Every day, go online, you see protests of non-paid salaries. They are not being paid. Poverty increases. Poverty have increased to the highest level in the contemporary Nigeria. It is no longer something. It is not something to. It doesn't. You don't need somebody to explain to you the poverty in Nigeria. If you are a Nigerian and you're living abroad, you should smell it. You know it. You hear it every day. Even if you're not a Nigerian, put your ears on the ground. You see. The political leaders focus more on power struggle than national development. That is what we call systemic decay. Many Nigerians today feel that the country is experiencing exactly this kind of decay. Everything I explained today, everything I mentioned here, whether you are part of Biafra struggle or you are not, these things I mentioned here, you are aware of it. You are complaining of it in one way or the other. But the difference between us and you is that you don't want to pursue the solution, but we are pursuing the solution. Corruption has become the normalized in Nigeria. Merit is replaced with favoritism. Public institutions stop serving the people effectively. Infrastructure collapses. Security deteriorates. Unemployment rises. Poverty increases. The political leaders focus more on power struggle than national development. That is what we see today. And many indigenous persons in that Nigeria today feel the country is you are deceiving yourself. Exactly, just like my brother coach is looking here. At a point in time, even snake swallowed the money in Asarok. Oh, my brother. There's nothing we have not seen in Nigeria. There is nothing we have not seen in the zoo. There is nothing we have not seen in the zoo. At a point in time, snake swallowed money in Asarok. It is so sad. It is so sad. And we must continue to speak about these issues. It doesn't matter what happens. Look around you, any place you are. If you are watching from Nigeria, or you have been in the anywhere you are watching, look around you. Roads remain in poor condition in many places in the country of Nigeria. Electricity challenges continue for decades. Youth unemployment affecting ordinary citizens. Security continues across different regions. Insecurity continues increasing every blessed day. If we go to their news today, you cannot read 2 or 3 news without seeing kidnap or terrorist attack. You cannot go through Nigerian news without seeing kidnap or terrorist attack every single day. Not 1, not 2, not 3. And public frustration keeps increasing. Now, when citizens consistently see this problem without meaningful improvement, they begin to lose trust in leadership. And that distrust becomes even deeper when certain regions believe they are being excluded from opportunities and development, like the way we feel with the Biafrans. So in all this that has happened, everyone is experiencing, but the case of Biafra is a special case. Our own case is so special because the contract, the Nigeria and the owner, Nigeria and its owner know that the only people that can challenge their authority is the Biafrans. Nigeria and their owner know that the only people that can challenge their authority is you and I, the Biafra people. The feeling of the exclusion in the South Eastern part of Nigeria, Biafra land, cannot be overruled, cannot be overlooked. Now, let us talk especially about the Southeast and the concern many Igbo Biafrans continue to raise. The southeastern part of Nigeria, more especially the Igbo part. For many years, political commentators, community leaders, activists, and ordinary citizens from the Southeast have argued that the region suffers from inadequate federal presence and insufficient inclusion in key areas of governance and infrastructure development. And this is not just a claim. It is not just a claim, it is a fact. This is a fact. It is not that maybe the people in South are making a claim. It is since after the Civil War, it has become much more pronounced and worse than you can ever imagine. And there is no plan to address it. There is no plan for the Nigerian government to address it. These things are not just a mere accusation. These are facts. Facts. These are facts. The region of the southeastern part of Nigeria, more especially the Igbo region, suffer from inadequate federal presence and insufficient inclusion in key areas of governance, infrastructure development. Today, we are not even part of anything. You can imagine one of the largest tribes in that country called Nigeria. They call it Wazobia. When they formed it, they call it Wazobia. But today, that Bia has no place in governance in Nigeria. They have the president, the vice president, the senate president. There is no place you see anybody from Biafra land. Likewise, in other positions, completely excluded. And we say, no problem, we are out. We are gone and gone for good. And yet, they do not want us to go. We went ahead to conduct self-referendum to let them know that we are ready and prepared to govern ourselves. Yet, they refuse to accept our self-referendum. We say, conduct your own referendum if you doubt what we have conducted. They refuse, and the world fold their hand and be watching. Instead, what did they do? They kidnapped our supreme leader, Nnamdi Kanu, from Kenya. They arrested our prime minister from Finland under false pretense, under false accusation, under false informations. And two of them today are being detained. And the world is silent and watching. Some of the concern often raised that we always talk about. Some of the concern that we are talking about on a daily basis that is making them to attack us, to go after our leaders, is poor road infrastructure, limited federal projects compared to other regions, perceived underrepresentation in security and political appointments, economic neglect, limited industrial investment, insecurity challenges affecting businesses and daily life. These are what Mazen Nandekano and Mazen Samadeko was complaining of on a daily basis. They didn't just wake up and begin to talk about division. They didn't just wake up and talk about moving out of Nigeria. They didn't just come out and begin to preach self-determination. These things have been there, and nobody is addressing these issues. And when they spoke up, what did they do? They kidnapped them. And today, our Supreme Leader sentenced to life imprisonment under non-existing law. And Mazi Simon Ekpa, wrongfully sentenced to 6 years, his right is denied, without accepting any single evidence he has against the Nigerian government. The prosecutor in Finland refused to accept the evidence. And this is a country that claim to have a high regard of human rights. But they abuse the right of our prime minister because of economic interests. They throw away their legacy of supporting human rights and they throw away the right of our prime minister. Refuse to admit not even one evidence against the Nigerian government. The prosecutor threw all the evidence away. And now they have held 2 years, almost 2 years and going to 3 years. And they're waiting for his appeal that is coming out on August 5th. This injustice is something that we must not keep silent about. Many people, Biafra land, believe, despite entrepreneurial strength and economic contribution of the Igbo people, the Southeast has not received equal attention in national development. This is a fact. It is not a claim. Despite even they themselves go to their media, they confess the Igbos are the one holding the economy of the consumption. When you talk of development, many states, there is no state in Nigeria where you go that the major developers are not Igbos. Every state you go in Nigeria, the major developers are Igbo, including Abuja. Big businesses you see, the mansions you see, major development are done by the Igbos, and yet they are neglected. Yet, region, there is no national president. Even give them a conducive environment. That is all we're asking for. We're not even asking them to come and invest whatever. Like, give us a conducive environment, like giving us an international airport, a functional international airport, and a seaport. In entire Nigeria that has more than 200 million people, have only one seaport. With people like the Biafra that have entrepreneurial ideas, you give them only one single seaport in Lagos State. That we must have to go to Lagos to transmit. We don't have international airport in our land. Every international airport has to transit from Abuja or from Lagos. Making sure that they cage us economically that we cannot be able to expand. They know that the major travelers who are flying the aircraft are Biafran people. The major people that are using that airline is Biafra. Yet they don't have operational. Go up. How many? When you check Nigerian people, when you check people from that contraction who are living abroad, I can bet you that 70% of those living abroad are Igbos. They are from the Biafra land. They are from Biafra land. And when I say don't just say Igbos, from the old South Eastern region, 70 or 80% of people who are abroad today are from that old Southeastern region. The present South, Southeast, Lower Kogi, Lower Benue, that is where they come from. And yet they don't have operational international airport. The people that are doing importation business today, that use the port, they are Biafran people, and yet they don't have a seaport in their land. What injustice! What injustice! Look at the rail line. They built rail line. They could not even pass the rail line to the southeast, even though it is the southeast that have the most viable rail line that can be able to raise money. Instead of building southeast, they went and built a railway line from Maradi, Niger Republic, to Abuja. What are they going? What is the economic interest that is coming from Niger to Abuja? What? The only thing they can transport is terrorism. Access, it will only give them access to terrorize Nigeria. But the economic viable route, they refuse to put rail line in the economic viable route. This is a country who, because they don't want us to succeed, they want everybody to be down. In the process of chasing Biafrans to stop them, they stop themselves. And I bet you, like we say in our proverb, as they are holding themselves stagnant, as they're holding us, they're holding themselves. As they are holding us on the ground, they are holding themselves. That is why Nigeria will never ever succeed. Nigeria will never ever prosper. Nigeria will never ever have security. There is nothing you will do on the planet Earth to make Nigeria succeed. Because Ojimna Nigeria. And until Biafra leaves Nigeria, until the Biafrans leave, more especially the Igbos, until they begin to strive, Nigeria will never know peace. They owe Biafrans an apology. Nigeria has committed a serious crime, unforgivable crime against the Biafrans. And until they are forgiven, it will never ever be well with them. Never. Now, whether every claim is accurate or not, is something people will continue to debate politically. For those who are not Nigerians or those who are denying this fact, continue to debate it. Engage us in debate. We are ready to debate. I'm ready to debate anybody and talk about it. Not by insult, not by abuse. I am ready and open to discuss with anybody who is willing to discuss. Whether you are a one Nigerian or you are not from Africa or you are an African or wherever you are, we are open for debate. But in the midst of all that you call a debate or whatever, what cannot be ignored is this. There is one thing that cannot be ignored. In the midst of all these things that are happening, the feelings are real. You cannot ignore that the feelings of the Biafran people, the feelings of other indigenous persons in that country, Nigeria, is real. More especially the Igbo Biafrans, their feeling is real. We are not pretending. I cannot come here and waste all day just for pretense. No. Our feelings is raw and it is real. The earlier you understand that, the better. The frustrations are real. The frustration we are facing are real. The anger on us is real. And the government of the day, the Zoological Republic government, must pay attention whenever a large group of citizens feel excluded. But they will not, because they say, whom God will destroy, he will make him mad. They will never listen. They will never listen. A government must pay attention when a large group of citizens feel excluded, because democracy is not only about election. Democracy is about inclusion, participation, representation, and fairness. That is when you see Nigeria talking about democracy, we say Nigeria is not a democracy. The British can continue to paint the picture they like. The West can continue to paint the picture they like for their own selfish interests. But we know Nigeria is not a democracy, has never been a democracy. What we see in Nigeria today is leadership failure and political mismanagement. My fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom across the world, wherever you are watching from, leadership is supposed to be uniting people. Leadership is supposed to unite people, not dividing them. Leadership is supposed to inspire confidence. Leadership is supposed to create opportunity and solve problems. But what are we seeing today? The kind of leadership we are seeing today doesn't unite people. Even in the agitation that we are today, even in some of them, we have been infected. We, the Biafran, have been infected by a long stay we had in Nigeria. Our long stay in Nigeria has made us that even us, we are finding it difficult to interpret leadership. Leadership is supposed to unite people. That was why Nnamdi Kanu leadership cannot be challenged. Nnamdi Kanu played a major role in uniting all the old South Eastern region. Nnamdi Kanu united all of us. In most of his program, he was speaking and making sure that every one of us come under one umbrella. And he succeeded. He didn't just unite the Biafra. He united us with the Oduduwa people while he was here. united us with the Middle Belt, united us with even the North. There was a unity. Every indigenous person begin to get that sense of unity. Mazi Simon Ekpa did the same thing. Mazi Simon Ekpa always gave an olive branch at a point that Mazi Simon gave us a serious order. Don't attack anybody that is fighting for Biafra. Don't attack anybody, no matter the umbrella the person is, no matter the group the person belongs. Allow them. Don't fight them. Our enemy is the caliphate and the British. Our enemy is the contraption called Nigeria and the people that formed it. Mazi Simon Ekpa even extended hand of fellowship to the Yorubas, to the Middle Belt, to the North. He did. But unfortunately, we have lost it this time around. That is why we see many groups attacking each other. We see many sections from different angles attacking, and there is nobody to unite and unify the people. There is nobody that have that capacity, that capability to unite people, to make that sacrifice and say, just like Goodluck did and said, that his presidency does not want the life of anybody. There was nobody that was able to do that. Everybody was busy imposing themselves on Biafran people. Everybody was busy looking for position. Everybody was busy looking for praises. Everybody was busy looking for title. And instead of them to unite with you, they would like to push you away so that they will be the ultimate. Leadership is supposed to inspire confidence. But today, where do you see the confidence in Nigeria? How can you have confidence on a drug baron? How can you have confidence on a drug baron? How? Leadership is supposed to create opportunity and solve problems. Today, the problem have increased. Insecurity in Nigeria, instead of being solved, it's increasing. Even they are becoming more bold. The terrorists have become more bolder. In a situation where they will kidnap somebody and the next day the person will pay ransom and come out and they will call the person and kidnap him again. The terrorists attack the people, and when the people are conducting burial, they will come back and attack again. That is how bad it is. That is how bad it is. But one of the major criticisms many Nigerians have today is that politics has become more about personal interests. Yes. Politics in Nigeria has become more about personal interests, power retention. They just want to retain power. And political survival than about genuine nation building. I don't believe there is no nation. There is no nation. So why would they even think about nation building when they know there is no nation? That is why I say most of these politicians know this is we know. They know what we know. But because they are of their own selfish and personal interest, they don't want to talk about it. They know there is no nation. They know that Nigeria is not a country. I played a video here. What Ahmadu Bello said. Few months after the declaration, after the independence, Ahmadu Bello made a statement. After the independence, immediately after the independence, Ahmadu Bello made a statement which I played here. And he said that Nigeria is the estate of their father, must be treated as the estate of, should be the estate of their father, Ottoman Danfodio. That Nigeria must be seen as the estate of their father, Ottoman Danfodio. And he told his people never allow power to go to the south, to anybody except them. So even these people that call themselves politicians, they know this truth. They know that Nigeria is a nation. But instead of pursuing a referendum for people to go their separate ways and build a nation that they can be able to defend and be proud of, they choose to deceive themselves. They choose to believe lies. They choose to believe propaganda. They choose to continue to listen to nonsense and idiocy. It is sad. It is sad. Nigeria happily. Politics has become more about personal interests, power retention, and political survival than about genuine nation building. Because there is no nation to build. Many citizens believe that politicians during campaign promise transformation, development, job, security, prosperity, but after election, the reality often remains unchanged. Just like you see Peter Obi getting from one party to the other. You see Peter Obi jumping in from, and you think that he is going to change anything. Make him a president, Nigeria will be worse than it is today. Go and make Peter Obi a president, and Nigeria will be worse than it is today. If somebody tell you that there will be a president worse than Tinubu, will you believe it? Worse than Buhari, will you believe it? When the late Muhammad Buhari was here, when the terrorist Buhari was alive, if they tell you that there will be any coming president that will be worse than Muhammad Buhari, will you believe that? What you see today, people are even praying to go back to the time of Buhari. That is how bad it is. For Nigerians to be praying to go back to the time of Buhari, you should know that there is no hope. There is no hope. There is no hope. And that is why the people are completely disappointed. And when disappointment continues for years, frustration grows into anger. Many Nigerians today are asking, why is the country still struggling despite enormous resources? If you go to their conventional media, this is the question they ask. But my annoyance is that how can you be asking the same question from year to year, without pursuing a solution or getting an answer? Even when the answer is given to you and a solution, you can't pursue it. You come online every day. The same question is what you ask. Go to their conventional media. These questions about us is what you will hear there. Why is the country still struggling despite the enormous resources? Why are basic infrastructure still inadequate? Why are young people leaving the country in large numbers? Why do citizens still feel unsafe? Why do many regions feel neglected? These are difficult questions, but are very straightforward that you can have the answer to. And year in, year out, go to their conventional media. People are still asking these questions today. You see where we have a difference between those of us Biafrans and those who are pretending to be sleeping in that zoological republic called Nigeria. Those who are pretending to be one Nigeria. They are the one asking this question because we are no longer asking this question because we know the answers. The people that are still asking this question, for many years they have been asking this question and they are still asking. And in the next year, in the next government, you bring a new president, they will still ask the same question. Why is the country still struggling despite enormous resources? Why are basic infrastructure still inadequate? Why are young people leaving the country in large number? Why do citizens still feel unsafe? Why do many regions feel neglected? These are questions that people are asking, continue to ask, and we continue to ask for as long as Nigeria remains Nigeria. But we are not asking this kind of questions anymore because we have the answers and we have the solution. That is the difference between us and them. And it is this our boldness that they are scared of. It is this difference that made them to be scared of Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa. This is the reason Nnamdi Kanu was detained. Leadership must be willing to answer the people honestly, but they will not. They will not. The only leadership that answered this question is Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa, and the owners of Nigeria are mad at them. That is why the owners of Nigeria incarcerated them, because they responded to this very question and gave the right answer. wherever you are on the planet Earth. And you find yourself in that contraption called Nigeria, nothing will save you. The only thing that will save you and will make you stop asking those idiotic questions is to embrace the truth. Embrace self-determination. Referendum is the only thing. You don't have, there is no election that will save Nigeria. No amount of election. The only thing voting that will save Nigeria is voting for referendum. One dangerous consequence of systemic decay. When citizens begin to lose faith in national institutions, they start identifying more strongly with ethnic, regional, and separatist movements. That is the situation of Nigeria. No genuine person today identifying himself as a Nigerian. No genuine concerned indigenous person identifying with that Zoological Republic. Everybody identify with their group, with their ethnic group, with their region, to save themselves, to secure themselves, including most of them that preach one Nigeria. You could have seen some of them who come and tell you create a security group, create this one. All these creations are not because nobody trusts the Zoological Republic government. Many countries where people feel politically unheard or economically excluded. That is what you see. What you are seeing in Nigeria today. A failed state, completely failed state. This is why government must never ignore public grievance. But in the case of the zoo, they don't care. They don't want to pay attention, and they have ignored. Because unresolved grievances eventually create deeper polarization. And once this trust becomes deeply rooted, rebuilding national unity becomes very difficult. In the case of Nigeria, rebuilding national unity is impossible. Absolutely impossible. Why is it impossible? It's impossible because from the origin, the structure was not meant to serve the people. Nigeria was created for control and for economic extortion. Don't ever forget that. Keep that in your head anytime you're talking about Nigeria. Anytime you are discussing Nigeria, always remember that Nigeria was not created for security, for progress, for success. It was created for control, for economic interest for the West. The British, to be precise. Today, the only dialogue that is going to work in Nigeria is a referendum for people to go their separate ways. Fairness matters. And how do you judge fairness? Fairness. When is Nigeria going to try to be fair? When? Equal opportunity matters. Fairness matters. But you can't find this in Nigeria. That is why I say Nigeria is irredeemable. A country cannot remain stable if large group of citizens believe they are permanently excluded from the national projects. There is no way a Biafra is possible. I say Biafra is possible. No matter what you hear, no matter what you see, I am telling you that Biafra is possible. We can never allow the enemies to take us out. We can never allow the enemies to give us a name that is not ours. We must continue to speak the truth and nothing but the truth. We must continue to preach the gospel. We must continue to say it the way it is. It doesn't matter what the enemies are doing. It does not matter their propaganda and their blackmail. No matter how difficult it is, we must continue to preach this message. And our voice must, I say our voice must be heard. My beloved brothers and sisters, I know we are having so many challenges on our network. We are still trying to work on so many things to make sure we can be able to overcome the challenges that is coming for us in all corners, in all sections. But as those challenges come, we will continue to defeat them. We will continue to do what we are supposed to do, and we will continue our voice is heard. So wherever you are watching, my beloved brothers and sisters, don't you ever give up. Don't you ever give up. No matter how difficult it is, no matter how bad it is, no matter the obstacle, the temptation, the trials, I urge you to stay forward. Stay put. Stay put. We are facing huge challenges. Huge challenges. But you and I, the youth, we have a role to play. Now, let us talk about the youth. Young people across Nigeria, including the Biafrans, today are facing enormous pressure. Many graduates cannot find jobs. Businesses are struggling. The cost of living keeps rising, and many youths feel uncertain about their future. These frustrations have created increasing political consciousness among young people. More youths are now questioning leadership. More youths are demanding accountability. More youth are speaking openly about governance failure. And this is important in a democracy. We must speak. Citizens should always be able to peacefully demand their governance. But at the same time, activism must remain peaceful, responsible, constructive, because sustainable change comes through civic participation, dialogue, policy engagement, institution building, and democratic processes. That is why I urge you, wherever you're watching from, to please stay focused. We have a huge assignment before us. We have a huge assignment before us as Biafrans. So wherever you are, you must remain focused. Don't allow yourself to be carried away. The question now we are asking, can Nigeria move forward? That's the big question. The big question becomes, can Nigeria overcome the division and frustration? That is the question. And of course, I have my answers. The answer depends on leadership and national security. National sincerity, not security, my brother. But as you know, the insincerity of the government answers it a lot. The problem of Nigeria didn't start today. It didn't start yesterday. So when I ask this question, the answer is already there for those who are paying attention. Can Nigeria overcome this division and frustration that we're seeing today? The answer is no, they cannot. But at the same time, the answer depends on the leadership and national sincerity, which you and I already know what their own outcome is. That is why I answer it boldly and say, no, they can't overcome it. A country moves forward when citizens feel represented, Are you represented in that contraption? No, we Biafrans are never represented. Even those that are calling themselves one Nigerians are not represented. A country moves forward when justice is seen to be fair. Is there justice in Nigeria? The answer is no. A country moves forward when opportunity are distributed equitably. Is that the case in Nigeria? The answer is no. A country moves when infrastructure reaches every region. Is that the case in Nigeria? The answer is no. A country moves forward when merit is respected. Is merit respected in Nigeria? The answer is no. A country moves forward when institutions function properly. Is that the case in Nigeria? The answer is no. Leadership leads to the people. A country moves forward when leadership listens to the people. Is that the case in Nigeria? The answer is no. So, when I make that response and say Nigeria cannot survive, I'm not just making it up. It is because of what is obtainable in Nigeria. There are facts backing every single statement I have made. Go on your own, run through it, and tick yes or no. Run through this. I say a country moves forward when citizens feel represented. In Nigeria, is that the case? Are citizens represented? Is there justice? Is there fairness in Nigeria? Yes or no? Opportunity are distributed equally. Is that the case in Nigeria? Structure reaches every region. Infrastructure reaches every region. Merit is respected. Institution is functioning properly. Leaders listen to the people. Is that the case in Nigeria? The answer is absolutely no. Unity grows when citizens genuinely feel they belong. And that means every region must feel impacted, included, and valued within the national structure. But you can never, ever, ever find this kind of thing in Nigeria because from the creation, it was never meant to be there. So when we say Nigeria is irredeemable, it is not a propaganda or a blackmail. It is a fact that you must live to accept. There is need for accountability. One thing the contraption must continue to demand. One thing that people that are in that contraption, individuals, citizens, the indigenous people must continue to demand is accountability. But are they doing it? Few of them. Is there accountability? No. Leadership without accountability creates abuse of power. Citizens must continue asking questions peacefully, which they have been doing. Is there any result? No. How are public resources being used? Why are certain projects delayed? Why are some regions underdeveloped? Why are insecurity still widespread? Why is unemployment still increasing? These questions are not acts of disloyalty. These are the questions that Nnamdi asked, and they were jailed. These are the questions Nnamdi asked, and they were put in prison. But these questions are not acts of disloyalty. They are democratic responsibilities for you and I. But our leaders were jailed because of these questions. A healthy democracy depends on citizens being able to question leadership respectfully and openly. That we have done for many years. But instead, they come against us, they fight our platform, they attack us. It is sad. I have a message for the political leaders. A political leader across Nigeria. This is the message many citizens want you to hear. People are tired of empty promises. People are tired of political propaganda. People are tired of corruption scandal. People are tired of insecurity. People are tired of underdevelopment. People are tired of feeling abandoned. The people want action. The people want fairness. The people want infrastructure. The people want jobs. The people want security. The people want hope. Again, the leader must understand that power is temporary, but consequences of governance decision affect generations. It's unfortunate that the people I'm talking to will not listen. But we say what we have to say. So that the world will take the record that we said it when we were supposed to say. Though they will persecute us because we said this. But that will not to stop. Mazin Nnamdi was persecuted. Mazin Samak was persecuted. Simply because they were saying the truth. But did that make them to stop? No, they didn't stop. As I conclude this morning, let me say this clearly. Nigerians' challenge cannot be solved through silence. They cannot be solved through intimidation. And they cannot be solved through ignoring public frustration. The path forward must involve honest dialogue, inclusive governance, equal development, accountability, justice, and justice, respect for democratic rights, the leadership that prioritizes citizens over politics. The voice coming from the South East and many other regions should not be simply be dismissed. The voice of Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Simon Ekpa should not be dismissed. Their grievances should not be dismissed. Government should listen carefully. Whenever citizens consistently express feelings of exclusion and frustration, because sustainable peace is built on fairness, and fairness. Sustainable unity is built on justice, and justice. And sustainable democracy is built on trust between leaders and the people. I appreciate every single one of you that have been with us on this program. Thank you so much for watching this morning program. Found the discussion valuable? Please like and share this program to all platforms. Subscribe if you have not done so. Leave your respectful opinion in the comment section. Don't keep this message to yourself. We are speaking to the world, and the world must hear us, wherever you're watching from. I appreciate and thank you for being part of this program. Thank you for being part of it, and we are going to be back again by the special grace of God tomorrow or in the evening if I have time, and we will continue to express ourselves and say things the way they are. May Chukwu Okukabia continue to guide and protect every one of us. As may Chukwu Okukabia continue to guide and protect every single one of us wherever we are. May Chukwu Okukabia continue to guide and protect every Biafrans as we prepare for our heroes' day that is. May Chukwu Okukabia continue to guide and protect all of us. As we have come to the end of the program, we are having so much challenges today. No matter what happened, I urge every one of you never to give up. Continue to like the program. Continue to share as much as you can. Share the program and invite others to also join us and share the program. May Chukwu Okukabia continue to guide and protect. See you again later in the day, or hopefully by tomorrow. Stay blessed.
very honest man with the face of his But you know what? No. I am the solution, and the only way they can get to you is by after I stop Biafra. Biafra will know important freedom. If I thank you.